Hello everyone, welcome back to the multithreading programming in C#. In this video, we will discuss about what is the deadlock in multithreaded in C# and we'll see how a deadlock can occur in a C# program. So before going to see the example of the deadlock, let's understand what is the deadlock in C#. So deadlock in C# is a situation where two or more threads are unmoving or frozen in their execution because they are waiting for each other to finish. So in this example, in this image, you can see like T1 and T2 are the two threads and resource 1 and resource 2 are the two we can say the logic or some program. So in this image, like for an example, like T1 thread is already having resource 1 and T2 thread is already having resource 2, means thread 1 is working on the resource 1 and thread 2 is working on the resource T2 is working on the resource 2. So like we can say like two threads like T1 and T2 at the same time, let's say we have two resource 1 and resource 2. The T1 locked the resource 1 and trying to acquire a lock on the resource 2 is basically requesting to the resource 2. At the same time, T2 acquire a lock on the resource 2 and trying to acquire the resource 1. As we can see, like thread 1 is waiting to acquire a lock on resource 2 which is held by thread 2, and thread 2 also can't finish his work and release the lock on resource 2 because it is waiting to acquire a lock on resource 1 which is locked by the thread 1. Hence in this case deadlock occurs. Now let's understand this deadlock with an example. Here you can see like we have a one normal class and this class name we have given as a ATM details, and it contains two variables. One is the balance and another is the ID. And we have a constructor. In this constructor we are passing those variable value and we are assigning into the local variables, and we can see from here we are returning the ID, and here we have two methods, and one is the withdraw, means like whatever the balance is there we are deducting to the particular amount which we are passing, and in the deposit we are adding the amount into the balance. So it is a normal class which contains some variable and the methods. Now there is another class called ATM system, and in this you can see like we have two objects, and that is from ATM and to ATM, and the type of these two variables is basically ATM details, means whatever we created a class like previously class, it is the object of that one, and we have a one local variable and that is the double called amount to transfer. Now here we have a one constructor, and in this constructor it is accepting like three variables, and two variables are the type of the ATM details like the previous class, and from ATM and to ATM is the variable name, and we are like taking another variable called amount to transfer, and we are assigning those value into these local variable, and here we have one method called transfer. So in this transfer method you can see like generally first what we are doing, like whatever the amount is coming, first we are withdrawing from the ATM, and whatever the amount is there we are depositing to the ATM. And here in this you can see like we are doing a locking system over the variables, and those are the like from ATM first we are locking on this, and then we are doing the locking on the like to ATM. So here doing like withdraw and deposit, before that what we are doing, we are locking like the from ATM and to ATM, and here you can see after getting lock over this from ATM, what we are doing some operation. For an example, like when we go to the ATM and when we withdraw some amount from there, so like for an example, like the first thread will come that will lock that first thread, and some operation we are doing, and that operation we have taken as a sleep. Like for an example, that operation taking 1 second, and after that it will lock lock to the another thread, like to ATM, like is basically. So all this operation is basically done from like by creating the threads, and that we have managed in the main method. So in main method you can see like first we are writing a console, that is the main method started, and from here like first we create an object of the ATM details, and from here we are passing the ID and the amount basically which need to be transferred, and after that like we are creating an object of the ATM system, and from here in the constructor we are passing like both the from and to, and here you can see from ATM and to ATM and the amount to be transferred, and we can see here like from details 1, like from this details 1 to details 2 we are transferring the amount, and that is the 500, and then we are doing like this operation we are doing with the thread 1. So basically like if you will go, so this first operation we are doing with the thread 1, and that we have logged with this thread, and we have given this thread name as a T1. Now next thing like same we have done for the like ATM system, and here what we are doing, we are transferring from details 2 to detail 1. Like in the previous one we were transferring from detail 1 to detail 2 500 amount, but here we are doing detail 2 to detail 1, and that is a 1000. Now this particular transfer we have attached with the thread 2, and the name we have given the T2, and then we have done the T1.start and T2.start, and then same we have join, and after that we are doing, if all this operation goes successful, the main method completed. So basically what happened here, now for an example like thread 1 is coming to access this transfer, thread 1 in the sense this thread 1 comes to access this transfer method. So like it acquired this lock system and it start processing for the 1 second, and by that time thread 2 also come to this one like and it lock, and basically it start processing some operation. By that time thread 1 try to access to ATM, but by that time thread 2 is already busy to doing this process, and thread 2 is not giving up over this one, and it is expecting T1 to release, like basically the thread 1 to release to doing some operation, but T1 is already busy by for like release this operation. Before that, that is looking to T2 to release this operation. So like in that case, like T1 is expecting T2 to release and T2 is expecting T1 to release. So in that case, what is happening? The deadlock occurs. So now let's understand it within Visual Studio. So same example what I have done, like I have written in the Visual Studio. So here this is the class, the normal class which I have created, and this is the ATM system and which we have the transfer method. So and in the like main method you can see I created this logic. So when I will run this application, so what will happen, it will print this one, and then after doing the operation for the thread 1 and thread 2, what will happen, here the deadlock will happen, and when the deadlock will be happening, like the code will not proceed further and it will not print this one. So let's run this application and see what output we get, and when we will run, we will see it got stuck here, like main method started, and after that we are not getting any output to this, and the reason is because here the logic got stuck and we got the deadlock from here. So let's prove it, like how it is happening. So what we can do, let's write here console dot write line, and inside this one let's print so thread dot current thread dot name, and here we will say like thread trying to access locking, and here what I'm going to do from ATM.id. So we will see like which ID it is trying to access it. Now same I will copy and I'll paste it, like so here I will say like this particular thread. So here let's make it ing, and here we will say like thread trying to slip for 1 minute, and same I will copy from here and I will say like this current thread name is, so here I will say, right, thread awake from sleep. And here what we will say, and trying to access to lock, and here I will say toATM.id.toString. So let's make all this as a string. Here also we will make .toString, and this also we will make .toString. Now here we know, like here it will be deadlock. So what I will do, I will write here and say console.writeLine. So here I will say like the main logic of transfer is started. So that I have written here. So basically what I have done, first I written a console here to check like it is trying to access this lock, and after getting this lock, what we are saying, like this particular thread is trying to sleep for 1 minute, and here we are saying like it's sleep for, like it's awake from the sleep and trying to access to lock, like for the another thread. And here we can see, if it comes here, we can say the main logic for the transfer is started. Now at point of this time when I will run this application, so basically like currently we have the ID 501 and 502 is the ID we are having here. So let's see what output we get, and then we will see. So here we can see like main method started, then T2 thread trying to access the locking for 502, and here we can see, and then T1 thread is also trying to access locking 501. Now T1 thread trying to sleep for 1 minute and T2 thread trying to sleep for 1 minute. So here like we can see it is deadlock is happening, and T2 thread awake from sleep trying to access for the lock 501. So we can see at point of this time like they are trying to they are sleeping and the awake, and basically they are trying to access to each other, and we can see here the deadlock is happening. So now next video we will see how we'll get rid of this deadlock in the C#. So that's it for this video. If you have any question and doubt, please comment. Thank you.